I'm in Coromandel. It's a Thursday afternoon around 4:30 and I receive an orange call.
Oh, thank God you're here. My husband, he's on the floor and I just don't know what's happened. I've just come home.
Yes, here she is. Hello, John. It's John, isn't it?
Yeah.
My name's Kathy.
Hello, Kathy.
So you're resting your eyes there. That's okay. You can do that. What's happened to you today?
I was going out the door and I just seemed to trip and, well, I had my eyes shut.
Why was that, John?
Oh, well, you see, it was just, the light was so bright. I've had this terrible headache.
Oh, no. I asked John a few pertinent questions. He has no chest pain, he has no shortness of breath, and today he has not consumed alcohol or drugs. So you fell?
I fell.
Okay.
Yes.
And you've had a bad headache and the light seems really bright for you. I'm going to have a little look. I can see that this ankle is either sprained or fractured. I'm going to have a look at that.
Okay.
And hopefully we can make you a bit more comfortable after that, and then we'll talk a bit more about this headache.
All right.
I'm going to measure your pulse here, just check that you've got a pulse. Yeah, that's all good, as I thought.
That's good.
The temperature of your foot is slightly warmer than this one over here. What I'm wanting to do with John is primarily to exclude fracture. I'm concerned more about his headache and other symptoms at this stage, and I'd like to get him up on the chair, so I'm going to use the Ottawa rules to see if we can rule out fracture. I'm going to be looking for bone tenderness along the crests of the tibial or fibula malleolus within a 6 centimetre zone proximal to the tip. I'll also be looking for bone tenderness at the navicular of the and the styloid process of the 5th metatarsal. Okay, well, I think that we're unlikely to have a fracture here, but
good.
I would like to see you walk on that. Just you'll be limping, but just to bear some weight on it. So we'll get you on your feet.
Okay.
Oh my goodness! Oh gosh, what happened there? That was very good. Now you're up on your chair there. I'll pop a cushion under your ankle so that it's not too sore, but I don't want to waste time on that just in the meantime because I'm a little concerned about your headache. In fact, I'm going to have a look and make sure you haven't banged your head. Do you remember banging your head?
No.
Okay, well there's no bleeding, no obvious bruising, no fluid leaking from either ear. Let's just talk a bit more about this headache. When did that start hurting?
Oh, it came on quite suddenly. Just about the time Barbara was leaving to do the shopping. So
Right.
I suppose that was about 3 hours ago, maybe.
Okay. I could see that you were holding your neck very stiffly, and that seemed to hurt, especially when we moved you forward and tried to pick you up.
Yeah.
So you're just holding that still. Well, you don't have to move that at the moment. Now I see you shutting your eyes when you can. What's that about, John?
I had this dull sort of pain
Right, and behind your
behind
eyes.
my eyes. Yes,
Mm.
yes.
And you talked about the bright light before. Is that still a problem for you? Right. That was too bright.
So.
Okay. Right. Well,
Right.
We're going to make some measurements if that's all right with you.
Can I get you?
Do you have any of John's medications? I record a set of vital signs for John. In addition to the usual measurements, I also record the blood glucose level. I'm concerned that although his GCS was 15, he was showing signs of an altered level of consciousness in terms of lethargy and slow speech. John's blood pressure seems a little high. I can see that he has a history of hypertension and is also in pain, so I don't read too much into that at this stage. Thanks for those, John. Those tell us that quite a lot of things are normal, but I want to do a special set of tests now that relate to strokes. Now don't get too alarmed. We're going to do these tests. Right? Okay. Because he's not himself, is he?
No, no, he's not himself.
Not himself. All right, John. First of all, simple test. Thank you. I just want you to look at me. Right. And can you smile for me? Lovely. Show me your teeth. Okay, that's the mouth's nice and even, smile's nice and even. But I can see one eyelid's drooping just a little bit there. Is that normal, Barbara? Does John have a drooping eyelid?
No, no.
You can see it. Can you see that looks a bit different from normal?
That eye, isn't it?
Okay, John, I'm just going to have a little test with my light in your eyes. Open as wide as you can. Okay, this one's fine. Okay, thank you. And I'm going to... Do you mind if I just do this with my hand? You can see.
Oh.
Right. I would like you to lift your arms up, John, as though you were carrying, right up together,
Speech out of the way.
carrying a pizza box. Do you eat pizzas? You too?
Good heavens, no.
Leave your eyes shut. You're allowed to shut your eyes for this one. And what we're checking for, Barbara, is to see if either of his hands drift away.
They seem to be all right.
You good? Yep, no, that's nice.
That's good.
Okay, I'll put that back down here. And I've been listening to you speak to me, and your speech is coherent. You're talking sense, not using wrong words. But
He uses them sometimes.
does he now? I can believe that.
Yeah.
So I am a little concerned. Does he normally speak very slowly?
Well, not as slow as that.
No. Can you tell me where you are today, John?
Here in Coromandel.
In Coromandel. Whose house are we in?
This is our house.
Right. What day is it today?
It's been Thursday.
Has been Thursday. Okay, so there are some clear neurological patterns emerging here. The sudden severe headache, the nuchal rigidity, and what may have actually been Brzezinski's sign manifesting itself all point to meningeal irritation, blood or inflammation in the meninges in the brain. The photophobia, the unilateral ptosis, the unreactive pupils, and the dysarthria, because the slow speech could be categorized as that, all point to cranial nerve compromise. More than one cranial nerve would span those. Third cranial nerve for optic, and the dysarthria involves quite a number of cranial nerves. The differential diagnoses best explaining these signs and symptoms are meningitis and subarachnoid hemorrhage. The subarachnoid hemorrhage seems most likely in this situation because the patient's afebrile, he has no rash, and the onset of his headache was very sudden. I'd like to strongly recommend that you come with me to the hospital now. You need to have some tests because although it could just be something not too worrying, there is a chance that this could be more serious and that you would need special tests and that you would need to have an operation. On the way home, I think about some of the key aspects of the case. The first thing is that a patient with a GCS of 15 can still have an altered level of consciousness. This patient had a flat affect, slow speech pattern, slow mentation, lethargy, and possibly a personality change, all of which can indicate an altered level of consciousness whilst still having a GCS of 15. The second point concerns the FAST test. The FAST test can be found negative even in the presence of certain kinds of focal neurological deficits, as this patient had. Research has shown that adding 2 extra features to the FAST test, being balance and any matters to do with the eyes, so visual acuity and ocular motor dysfunction, can significantly improve on the FAST discrimination. The final point is really that it is important to carry out the assessment thoroughly enough to arrive at a good working diagnosis. Even though 2 or 3 differential diagnoses might all mean that a patient needs to be transported, the importance of taking the assessment further is to make sure that pre-hospital and definitive care once the patient arrives at hospital can be differentiated as early as possible.